Voice disorders. How can we tell if it's a disorder or not? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the SLP Peep. I'm Janelle, a speech-language pathologist. If you like this sort of content, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button, and let's get going. I've talked about the anatomy. I've talked about what could go wrong. I've talked about ways to help it, but how can we tell that somebody has a voice disorder? This is actually a really interesting idea and question because the answer is going to be kind of different no matter what you do. If a person has a complaint about their voice, whatever their complaint may be, a clinician will check into it. There have been complaints of people saying they don't like the pitch of their voice, whether they think it's too low or too high. There have been people that have complained that their voice gives out on them during different parts of the day. There are very medically based complaints where the vocal folds have either snapped shut or snapped open, and either it's difficult to breathe or it's difficult to talk. There are so many complaints about the voice that we have to have a standardized mean to assess this, right? Don't worry, the answer is yes, we do have means. I just wanted to pose the question out there to get people thinking. So what are the best tools and assessments SLPs have for all this? I'm going to throw this out there as number one, partially because it's the medical answer. ENTs, ears, nose, throat doctors. ENTs are just the specialists. We can actually work with ENTs about vocal folds that are open and staying open, closing and staying closed, and a whole bunch of other things as well. So ENTs can do the diagnosis, polyps and nodules on the vocal fold, which is great. We love our ENTs, especially in the voice world. Okay, so that's medical, that's ENTs and doctors, but what about us as the SLPs? What can we do? Especially when it's not in terms of vocal folds are closing and staying closed and open and staying open, but what if it's more of a pitch thing? SLPs have a whole plethora of tools and assessments we can use. I am mainly going to talk about three of them. First of which is the CSL, the Computerized Speech Lab. This is actually software and equipment sold to people, mainly voice specialists and SLPs, voice scientists, right? The CSL is a computer, microphone, and a few other attachments if needed. It's basically like a software where they have a bank of participants from different age ranges and different lifestyles and everything, and it compares your voice to theirs with numerical numbers. Not this sounds good, this doesn't sound good, but it's you are within normal limits based on these numbers that we are able to detect from you with a microphone. What the CSL can do, which is really fascinating, is gauge your lowest pitch to your highest pitch, how long you're able to hold something out, the jitter and shimmer, please say those two slowly, and assess your voice and compare it to others in the same age group as you and age groups of others. When I went to grad school, we actually had a CSL that the students were able to practice and work on, as well as having clients come in and work on it as well. Some of these programs were along the lines of, let's get your voice louder, let's make your voice softer, let's get it at this range, let's get it at that range. And they were very interactive, and you, the client, were able to get data in real time. Just kind of cool. The CSL tends to be expensive. That's the analysis machine, is $50. And that's just to turn it on. Now, the CSL may not be what you were looking for, either because of cost or because you only need something really small and specific, and the CSL has all these things in it that you don't need all of it. What else can SLPs do? In comes the CAPE V, Consensus Auditory Perceptual Evaluation of Voice, CAPE V. I had to read it. Now, this is a tool that SLPs use, and it's not necessarily standardized in terms of we're able to evaluate it and get a lot of numbers from it, and it's going to be consistent no matter which SLP you talk to, but it's more of a tool that SLPs use, and we're able to get consistent results with ourselves. And not only is it consistent results with ourselves, we can talk to coworkers and we'll know exactly what we're talking about. Numbers can be given off of this, but they're more subjective numbers, meaning I may think somebody is fine, but somebody else may not feel that same way. CAPE V is a good tool SLPs use for our own records, for progress throughout time without doing full-on evaluations. What other tools do SLPs have to help those with voice disorders? Most everyone has these. For a lot of people, these work. And we use these for a lot of other parts in speech-language pathology. Ears. As much as we love using a computerized system to assist us with getting finite numbers and facts, we still have to use our auditory perception, what we hear, to judge what is normal, what is progress, what's going on. And in all honesty, these are what people use in everyday life. We don't go around the world with a computer and using the computer to base whether or not somebody's voice is within normal range or functional limits. A lot of times we do go based off of our hearing on how a person sounds. Each of these tools come with their pros and cons. Sometimes one is a lot more effective in some situations than another. There is no one is better than the other in a general term, because every situation is going to be different. For someone that has medical necessity, an ENT is going to be who you go to. For someone that just doesn't like the pitch of the voice, and we've already ruled out medical concerns, then our ears or the CAPE V might be what we lean towards. There are so many different factors to consider with voice that as clinicians, we need to be flexible to think about all different situations. Now, if you are interested in voice therapy, voice anatomy, anything to do with the voice, and you would like to get more in-depth information about this, this was my textbook in graduate school. I don't think they're on version 6, because I think this actually came out when I was in grad school. One moment. I know this location. So this came out in 2014. They may come out with a 6th edition, but it's less than 10 years old, so we'll see. This may not be your cup of tea for light reading when it comes to information about voice. I will link ASHA, the American Speech Language Hearing Association, down below. From their website, you may be able to find more information about voice and other resources as well. For the question of the day, did you like this month's segment about voice? And that's all we focused on. Is there any other part of the ASHA Big 9 or life of a speech language pathologist that you would like to know more about? Please let me know down below. I hope you have a terrific day. And as always, until next time, bye-bye.